Honest, dear Heavenly Precious Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come here today to represent the fine folks of this county and try to make every decision we can to benefit all, if not most, of every citizen that calls Nicholas County home. In your holy and precious name we do pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. We'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission to order. Today is Wednesday, April 7th of the year 2021. If one of you gentlemen would like to get started there.
Okay, upon review of the March 3rd and March 17, 2021 Commission minutes, I have a motion to approve.
Motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, move to approve accordingly.
Motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the state and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
Motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from the elected officials and department heads, the Commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
Okay, that motion is on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the invoices as submitted by various department offices, the Commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. At this time, we do have a petition to close right away from Robin and Gregory Cheney. We do have that before us. They presented it to us the last meeting. And right now, legal counsel, do you have anything to add on that?
No, it'd be my position that the commission accept the petition and set the matter out for about 45 days to let the petitioners properly notice the parties that have to be noticed pursuant to the West Virginia Code, and then we have a hearing in about 45 days on that petition.
Thank you. Do we need a motion on that?
I don't know, what does Clint think?
Clint, do we need a motion to set that for 45 days?
I think that would be fine, just
Okay.
the petition, a motion to accept the petition, and then scheduling wise, I don't think we need a motion for that. That's a realistic time in terms of how long you have to run that in the paper.
Accepted.
I'll make a motion that we accept this petition.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. And we will establish that 45 days from now with the next commission. Okay, very good. We'll take a quick break.
So they'll put that basically, it's just all you can do. Ma'am? We'll take a break.
Okay, we're here now with a revisit of the compensation time policy. The sheriff and the county clerk did present this from the Wage and Review Board, put this together. If there's any action you all would like to take on this at this time.
I'll make a motion to accept it as is.
And take effect July 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Anything else you want to add on that?
2022 or 2021?
This year. 21, just the next year. Into next year's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Legal counsel, do you have anything on this, questions or comments?
I do not, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, the motion's on the floor. No other discussion to be had. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. And let's see. Guess we'll go ahead and take another break. Are you going?
Yeah.
Okay, we're here now with the concerning the estate of John McHugh, file number 10126 with claims against the estate. We have with us Clay McHugh by phone, and if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourselves real quick.
Yes, I'm William Stover.
Clay McHugh, and I'm John E. McHugh's brother.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm William Stover. I'm an attorney for the state. With me is Gary McCutcheon, who was a witness to the will at issue in this case. Jerry Clevenger is the executor named in the will, and Craig Clevenger is one of the heirs of the will.
Understood. Thank you. So really, if you'd like to take the floor there.
Yes, the will has been filed, and Mr. Jerry Clevenger has been appointed as administrator of the estate, and he filed an appraisal, and as part of the publication period for any objections to the estate, Mr. Clay McHugh filed some proof of claims alleging there was some debts owed to the estate. As the attorney for the estate, I contested those claims. After contesting those claims, and the dates are in there, I just don't remember them, there was a one-page letter written in by Mr. Clay McHugh saying that he was contesting the will. And at that point, that's where we are today, and we received notice to be here in front of the commission. Basically, we have a contested debt and a contested will.
Thank you. Okay, Clay McHugh, here on the phone, do you have anything to add to that?
I did have 3 liens on the property. I incurred a legal fee and court costs in order to do the administrative part, and then a personal loan that I have with my brother. But my brother, he was diagnosed with bipolar chemical disorder, schizophrenia, and I'm contesting this will because I don't think he was in the right mind when he done the will. And he was a VA veteran, and he should be buried in the family cemetery, which I contest as a will. I think the property should be sold and all debts paid, and I think that the money from the estate should go to the VA. All proceeds go to the VA.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Legal counsel?
Yes, Commissioner, I think this matter needs to be referred to a fiduciary commissioner pursuant to the code, and I would recommend to the commission that the commission direct today that the estate file be referred to an attorney, a local attorney, or an attorney that would be willing to serve as fiduciary commissioner, and have a proceeding before that commissioner.
I have no objection to that.
Okay,
Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make that motion without refer this to fiduciary.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. So, Clerk Painter will get you in contact with James Blankenship and get her hashed out. Thank you all for coming in.
Oh,
Thank you for your time.
Go ahead, Judge. Okay, we're here now with Cassandra Lawson, the Senior Project Specialist for Region 4 Planning and Development Council. Seems like first off here we have the Craigsville Public Service District Generator Project. If you'd like to discuss that first.
Sure, absolutely. So what I'll end up doing is just turning it over to Ron Bustani. He is the project engineer with Thrasher, who has worked on this project. And just in summary, what we're going to be doing today is presenting to you the contract documents for this project. It was bid out some time ago, well over a year ago, but the bids came in high, and this project is funded by FEMA and the state of West Virginia, and it took quite a bit of time and coordination in order to achieve the additional funds that were needed to actually honor the bids and implement the project. So that is all now in place. We're super excited, and I'll let Ryan take it from here.
Thanks, Cassie. As she said, I have the contract documents for the contractor, and he has already gone ahead and signed the contract. As Cassie said, it's 100% grant funded. So we have a pre-construction meeting here today at 1 o'clock with the contractor once these are executed, and it's pretty straightforward. The contract length is about 140 days until substantial completion, and then 190 days to final completion. There may be an extension, so I may be back due to a delay in ordering the generators with COVID. Right now, we're seeing a delay in materials. So other than that, everything's straightforward. And I'll go ahead and get you situated. There are 5 copies, all the same.
All right.
For everybody. I don't know if you all want to, a lot of information. If you all want to skim through it for any reason.
Okay.
But, that pen, if you are, just
Yes.
blue ink.
Yes. We live in blue ink. Okay, so you need a motion of approval.
Sure, that'd be great.
I want that. So if you all have an approval of contract award documentation for the Craigville generator project.
I'll go ahead and make that motion to award the Craigville generator project.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Is
Hearing-
it your fee too? Is your fee will be covered by everything?
Yep, everything will be covered by the grant. There will be no out-of-pocket expenses for the commission.
And this is pretty much, unless there's an extension, this is pretty much it.
Yes.
It'll be installed and done.
How many
Yes, and then
generators?
if there's any additional change orders, something that we didn't plan for, when the contractor gets into it, there might be a change order where there's an increased cost. We typically do not do a deduct change order. We'll carry that through construction up until completion, and then we'll do a final change order for any deducts. And again, it's all grant funded, so you all would not be responsible for
How many generators is the total?
4. There's 1 at the water treatment plant, and then 3 booster stations throughout Craigville. And it's on the water side.
And now we'll just be coming to you with documentation to process pay requests as the contractor's doing the work, and billing will come to you each month and help you process those payments.
And we will be having progress meetings for the project, so if you all would be interested in attending any of those, we could get them set up to where if you all wanted to call in or come, that'll work. Gary Robinson, the general manager at the PSD, has been really involved throughout the process, so he'll be attending those as well. So if you all have any questions, you can reach out to Cassie or myself or Gary.
Very good. Thank you.
For the public, this is one of those projects that's been ongoing for quite some time, and it's now nice to see that we're coming down the stretch towards completion of this project. Okay.
Yeah, it was bid out in December of 2019.
Well, the discussion about that was even before that, you know, going through the process, of getting us there. Okay.
Very good. So the motion's on the floor. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. We'll worry about that in a second.
Sure.
If you would like to
Continue
go
on.
ahead and continue. Up next, we have the Birch River Public Service District Generator Grant Project with a grant agreement.
Yep. So we're here with the Birch River PSD Board. We've got T.G. Griffith, the chairman, Libby Hoffman, treasurer, and Alvin Rose, member. And so we're super excited to announce that the PSD has also received funding for a very similar project to the Craigville PSD. An application was submitted for 3 generators and 2 backup battery units throughout Birch River system well over a year ago, maybe going on 2 years ago now.
About the same time as that.
Yeah.
We got caught in the, where they were looking everything over again, to make sure, so we kind of got delayed on our part of it.
It was a process, but we're pleased to see the funding finally come through. So what we have for you today is the grant agreement for this project. And again, it's 100% grant funded by FEMA and the State Office of Emergency Management. Again, this project includes 3 generators and 2 backup battery units that will be used at the water tanks so that the PSD will still have telemetry communication with their water tanks during power outages. The total cost of this project is $316,219.
Repeat that amount one more time, please.
It's going to be $316,219. That's the total award. And again, that's split up between FEMA comes in at about 75% and the state pitches in the other 25%. And signing of this contract will just allow us to move forward with the project and access those funds and get this one moving forward also.
Have you bid it yet?
No, nope, nope.
Yeah, hopefully we can get these projects finished, because Lord knows when we'll have another ratio or whatever to knock out electricity, and then you're without water.
Yeah.
Right. And for these communities, water is one of those vital things we must have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion on the floor concerning this grant agreement?
I'll make a motion that we accept the grant agreement.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Anything else you all need to add on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. I can sign this one a little quicker.
That one's easy.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and take a break.
This is one of those fun things we get to do. Okay.
Okay, we're here with some requests from Sheriff William Nunley with broadband, revisiting an equipment request and some overtime. Sheriff Nunley could not be with us, so we do have Chief Deputy Paul Kuchar. So Mr. Kuchar, you can have the floor.
Yeah, Sheriff couldn't be here today. He gave me this, these wall. This is on the equipment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shotguns, the shotguns he requested before were too long. Wouldn't fit the cruisers because of the overall length. So he got a new quote. And I guess there is an updated cost difference of around $2,500 for the shorter version.
Okay.
Should be all in the letter there.
$2,500 more.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You think it'd be less than so short?
Oh, yeah, right. Right.
You would think so.
Right. Less metal anyways. Yeah, yeah. Okay. But you gotta have them. So, we took that out of CARES fund. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Those cars. Yes. Right.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah, this was CARES funding.
I don't,
Yeah. I'll tell you
I
what.
wasn't here when it goes.
Is there a motion to take it out of the same corresponding funds as before to adapt this? Okay, all right, so that motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Who made the motion?
Commissioner Chapman?
Chapman.
No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. Thank you. Next, you
Okay,
have.
this is on the overtime request. Just to recall.
All right, there's one, there's one.
We have 2 deputies on medical leave that were injured while on duty during a domestic call. We have another deputy that will be off due to surgery this month. And we have one getting ready to attend the West Virginia State Police Academy, 16 weeks long. So we're going to have 4 officers off the next couple
Could you
of
go get
months.
Bobby? Thank you.
We'll have 4 officers off for the next few months. And we don't really have any overtime funds to work patrols, to pay overtime to work them. And Sheriff Nunley was asking for $10,000 in overtime funds to allow for provisions of shifts during this time.
I'm getting clerk painter in here because I'm not sure if we need to do a budget revision or how we need to. Sheriff's wanting a $10,000 overtime budget, but we're down 5 men, 4 men. Do we need to do a budget revision to put that into his budget, or how do we need to handle that?
We'll do it.
Okay. Okay.
wait until, let's see if he goes close to it.
They don't have it, right, you don't have
There's
anything in it.
zero in it.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a little extra built into his.
I was gonna say, but it might already be there. And if we do approve, we probably, if needed, we probably.
I'd agree with
as
that.
if needed.
Okay.
Probably better set a minimum funding available.
That's what I
then,
mean,
yeah.
$10,000 if, you know,
Yeah.
if it needs to do a budget revision, we can do that.
We normally have to do a budget revision for the law enforcement line anyway,
Right.
because they get reimbursements in, and
Right.
it's not built in, it's not front loaded.
Right.
So usually around May or June, we have to do a budget
Yeah.
revision anyway, put some money in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's- shouldn't be a problem. And there may be a little extra anyway right now because two of them are on workers' comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it might already be there, just, yeah.
Shuffle. Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we do a budget revision if needed for up to $10,000 for the sheriff's department for overtime.
And what we can even do is just have them work out the numbers and then we can review and approve it, correct?
Yeah,
The second time, okay?
yeah, like I say, they'll probably be due. Okay.
Okay, all right.
10,000 plus matching.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to do 10,000 plus match.
That's correct.
All the
FICA
additional
return.
FICA return,
Oh,
all that,
got it.
yeah. Otherwise, it's just gonna eat it up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
with you now.
So that motion is on the floor. Is there any other discussion to be had? And you'll can work that out and get something back to us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. All right.
The next one we have here is the radio equipment. We've got the new Motorola radios, which are working good. They're, to install them in the cruisers, they have to have a faceplate that holds them in the console. And they don't come with a faceplate. Consoles don't come with, the faceplate for the Motorola's. So I think there's 20 faceplates that we need to get them Motorola's mounted in the cars.
Are they specific for each different vehicles? I'm sure would have a different faceplate.
Well, it's a Giotto desk that goes in the console that goes in the car. So Giotto makes a faceplate for the Motorola because there's different types of radios, so they have different faceplates for each radio.
That's the same console per car.
Yes,
pretty much.
yeah, it's the same console.
Okay.
So it'll be just a faceplate.
And I might recommend this come out of CARES funding as well. Is that okay with you?
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Okay, we have Aaron Kelly here, he's an IT guy. He's got the stuff for the internet services and everything.
Table's hard to reach over sometimes.
So the sheriff's department's infrastructure hasn't been, the network infrastructure hasn't been updated since 2005. Whenever the network was first put in, it was made for no more than 40 people, and I logged in Monday and we had 143 on it. So it's getting past of where things have changed in our lifestyle. A lot of things is going to telecommuting, video conferencing, which requires more bandwidth. So the more and more resources that's requested from the network, the less resources we have to provide to it. So it's crippled the network over in the last few years. So the sheriff and I and the chief, we've talked around a little bit trying to figure out what would be the best solution. So this solution that's here is infrastructure that covers not only the sheriff's department, but the county commission and the county clerk's office as well. It goes over the demands of the bandwidth. So the circuit that's actually for the internet is a 150 meg circuit from Shintel that's synchronous. So it's 150 up, 150 down, compared to the 12 meg that we have now. So 12 down and 3 up. That's a huge increase in bandwidth. There's been discussion about video conferencing being done in this office, so it'll cover that as well. and it'll cover the needs of the sheriff's department and the county clerk's office. Also, I was discussing with the chief and the sheriff, with no additional cost, because we have the infrastructure to do it now, if we go with this plan, is that the women's resource, where Sergeant Holdren is that we could do away with that internet expense as well by migrating them into this plan with no additional cost. Because that's 3 computers that would cross the road. That's no issue whatsoever.
It's good.
Now, I noticed that, the clerk and the sheriff, so, but this is for the entire courthouse, like each office would have a,
It's everything but
router.
Supreme Court, correct?
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. Now, does that include everything in the annex? I don't remember if we discussed the annex or not.
No, the annex doesn't include.
Okay, just
Just the courthouse.
the actual
Yep.
courthouse, yeah. Debbie Sweeney, she's already in the Supreme Court's web internet, I believe, right? Yeah, so we don't have to worry about her. So basically, the main 4 assessment is what we're looking.
There is
Okay.
one connection that goes up there because the bailiff from the sheriff's
Oh, yeah.
property.
Okay.
So there is one connection
Okay.
that goes up there.
And that's covered in this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So is this,
Do we provide that?
the original one Billy gave us a
No.
Leave it there.
couple weeks ago was like 32,000. Is this,
This is it. So back page is not on this. Is the back page when you were here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the back of the second page. On the
Yeah.
back of that page.
I don't have a back page on mine.
Yeah, okay. Mine does. 32,000.
Okay.
yeah, 'cause I-
32,557.
And then the recurring
I'm missing
expense
it
for the
too.
circuit is 438.
Yeah, okay.
And then, if we take away our internet and the internet across the road, and I don't know if you all have your own, but if we consolidate them all together.
We don't, that's our problem here. Yeah. So, yeah. But it's needed, okay,
I'd like to have somebody else look at it, because I had somebody review this and they said something pricing was a little high.
Yeah.
So if we could get a second quote, I'll furnish the name,
Okay.
do it. If they need to contact you,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a lot for the sheriff, stuff like that, so.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, yeah, if you don't mind, we'll table that till next meeting. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you'll just have them get with Aaron.
Okay.
And he can run it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Very good, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
We're actually running a little bit behind, but up next we have at my request, but really it was all of our requests.
Yes, it was.
COVID assistance for county community centers. The senior citizens facilities have been named directly. Yeah, they'll be benefited through the CARES and the American Rescue Plan Act, whatever it is now. But really, our community centers are left out in the dry. Really, we only have 2, Legacy People's Place, Fenwick Mountain Community Center. I've been around both, as we all have.
Yes.
Neither of them are able to have their dinners and their fundraisers and everything else, and they still have facilities to maintain. Now, Commissioner Atkins, you talked to Dave Taylor, and if you want to bring to the floor what you all discussed.
They need between $3,000 and $4,000.
Which one's this?
Be,
Fenwick Mountain.
Fenwick Mountain.
Yes.
They refer to that as New Hope.
yes, New Hope Community Center, I apologize. And I reached out to Legacy People's Place, same shape. So, that being said, we do have one-time money. So this is a one-time contribution. But I still think it's a very worthwhile thing to do. So I might recommend $3,500 each.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is that okay? $3,500 each?
That's fine.
And then, worst case, they can always come back.
That's true.
We can always revisit that depending on how long this pandemic lasts.
Yes.
So that being said, that motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion to be had? And that comes out of CARES funding. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. You just gonna go ahead and do the Chamber's Conference.
Yeah.
while we're- Okay.
Go ahead and do it.
We're a few minutes early, but I don't think anybody's coming. It also says at my request, but again, all of our requests. COVID assistance, County Chambers of Commerce, the Richwood Chamber reached out to me, you know, because they're, even like their Feast of the Ramson's gonna be different this year, no fundraisers, et cetera, et cetera. And they are not receiving any kind of CARES assistance, or American, what do you call it?
It might be there, it's just, yeah, search for it.
American Rescue, what's that?
I said it might be there, but they just gotta search for it.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But last year we did a one-time contribution of $5,000. I'd like to go ahead and repeat that for this year, for only this year, if that would be acceptable to you.
I agree.
To each,
To both.
5,000 each.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know, spend at their discretion, but promote the area and try and bring in some business and
Last year,
customers for our businesses.
John Norman did help with power company also.
Yes, First Energy was kind enough last year to match what we did, so
Okay.
maybe even put a request out to see if we can do that again.
Just to be clear, this is for the chambers, not the CVBs.
Correct.
Chambers of Commerce.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
Okay.
CVBs are pretty well funded by the city.
Okay.
So that being said, well, I guess, yes, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We didn't eliminate it.
So who will do it?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Okay, that motion's on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. And that being said, we will take a break.
Cassie, are you back again?
I am.
Okay. We're here now at my request with commission assistance to the County Swiftwater Rescue Team. We talked about a number of 16, is that correct, men?
Yes, it's
For the
16.
team. What I'd recommend right now, because we were still talking to Carol Miller about that funding for all the equipment and stuff like that, is go ahead and approve the funding for 16 members to be trained. You know, once we get a list of the 16 guys that'll, you know, are capable and willing to do it and all that, and then we can take it from there. Is that okay?
Yep.
Is that acceptable to you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
With what we talked about,
Yes.
that number.
Yes.
is fine.
Yeah. As long as you got 16 people ready and willing, and capable of doing the training,
Oh,
then I think that'll be good to go ahead and take care of the training.
Okay.
and that was at the reduced, the half price is $750, right?
Per man.
Per person.
Yes.
That's classroom training.
Yes.
Very intense.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
Okay, that motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, no, real quick, did you want to do the 75%?
Yeah,
Will you move to rescind your motion?
I will.
Yeah. Okay, the motion's on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against the motion does carry. Need to amend that motion to 75% of that funding, and the departments come up to 25%. Okay.
yes.
And that's after that, but we can worry about that after we get the 16 men in place and all that. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
okay?
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
That was an oversight on my part. So
That's
now.
So
you might
I'll
make that
redo the
again,
motion that
please.
we approve this with, the commission will pay 75% of the amount for the training.
Yeah,
For the
once we
16.
get an approved list of
Once we get
16.
approved list. Okay.
All right, now that motion's on. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We'll take another break. All right, we're here now with Lavetta Hodeman and other members of the committee and community on the Hinkle Mountain Little Laurel Water project with a request for additional funding for Hinkle Mountain Little Laurel Water project. So the floor is yours.
Okay, I was called last week and week before last by the mayor, and he asked me to get a hold of Senator Manchin, our residents, and the commission to see if we can possibly get funding to finish up what we did not receive and get this project done. So that's why we're here today, to request any additional funds that you all can come up with. I don't care how you do it, Just get the money.
I appreciate the honesty.
Put the water in till we can
Yeah, right.
survive until we die. I mean, we've had several members from our community die since this started. He's been at it 45 years. I've been at it 30. That's 75 years. Let's do it. That's all I have to say.
Do you have an amount that you still need to finish the project?
Do I have an amount?
Yes.
Cassie has the numbers,
Okay.
and Steve can also speak to the numbers, so I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I'll take a stab at it. So the city, there's a funding gap. They're seeking to fill that gap through some other sources as well, but they have not yet received commitments. So depending on what commitments do come through could change the number, but I would estimate 800,000.
Nobody fell out of the chairs, so they're all right.
Is that the number
Still
that
holding
you?
on.
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much.
I don't have numbers.
Do you have anything to?
Well, guys, the committee, like I say, they worked on it a long time. We basically had a lot of it in place. Basically, the project was teed up, but obviously we've hit some snags. Like Cassie says, we're still searching the other avenues for funding. I gotta stand up, I'm sore. Other avenues for funding. $800,000 could be the magic number, okay? We don't know if we will need that much. Is that a good way to also put it, Cassie? Because we're out there putting fillers out to see what's available to come. We've got small city grants, other avenues. The other thing that has happened, we've also had an inflation factor in this project. It's gained about $1 million in hard cost that we know of, right? That we have projected with the engineer and the accountant. So in the last 14 months, we've gained about $1 million in cost going up. A lot of things with that is, as much with any type of water line or pipeline, what's causing our project to go up as much as anything is pipeline work. All over Appalachia's caused it, people to do it. We still think we're going to possibly have a small inflation factor above this $1 million. We don't know yet because we haven't ran a Rule 42. Basically, 800 grand sounds like a big number. It's only about 19% of your stimulus money you're going to get. You're going to serve about 19% of the population on that end of the county if you can participate at that rate. Thing of it is, that's the number we think we need to be at, isn't it, Cassie?
Yeah.
We've got, what, 2 scenarios right now?
Couple. Yeah.
Couple scenarios out there to pick up additional monies that we fell through. Some of it is going to be forgivable grant money, if I understand correct. We've got some commitments from another agency for 30 years, 0.05 in the money. It's pretty good for that. The thing of it is the time frame with what's dragging this out. We got to get this thing somewhat started so we can keep the cost of it down and keep it affordable for the people over there and to service that into the area. It's not only servicing the people of Hinkle Mountain, Little Laurel. We're going to do a lot for servicing the community. The plant rebuild, fixing the Lynn Street or replacement of the Lynn Street tank, which we don't know at this stage. We had a lot of issues with that tank 4 or 5 years ago, so we've lost 60 or 70 months on that age of that tank. And the other thing, as much as importance over there for the water system in Richwood, or the water department, is getting their cash register taken care of and getting these digital meters in place.
All the meters within the
All the meters within the city are going to be replaced. So this is going to help their cash flow or their cash register with funding this project and keeping that system profitable and manageable for them to go forward. So I'm also your liaison, Craig. I'm sitting here looking at the third group of you since I've gotten stuck with that. But any amount that we can get from there. First time we got to $100,000, we leveraged money.
200,000.
We got, somebody had 100, commission came, we leveraged it to come up with 2 and got another 100 or 2 out of it. Considerable. Like I say, we're here to ask for any help fundable additional to go. We might be able to come back and say, we don't need that much of money, but we have this gap. Our dream and our wish today is to ask for the additional, where we know we're at today with that kind of money, right, Cassie? Is about where we come up with in the last couple of meetings is around 800 grand. I know it sounds like a lot, but when you spread it out for the population and what it could do, it'll help.
How many households would this take water to?
118.
118,
Was the
that
last
is, that's Hinkle Mountain and Little Laurel combined areas.
Okay.
Both, Garrett. I think that's what it was, 118 to 120, right on that number, I think. So pretty much, other than going back, and we're getting some pretty good responsive feedback from the state agencies. They're really trying to help us put these numbers together. Hopefully, they can come up with all of it. That would be our ideal dream, is for the state to fund it 100%. But we're here today in case we're going to have that hole. I think it's time that we ask now ahead of time instead of coming later and going, hey, we're short this.
Okay.
So, other than that, really, I mean, the numbers that just keep, the biggest thing I think we got to worry about is just, we got this number, the cost of this project has just kept accelerating so quickly. And Lloyd seen those numbers, and Cassie, I mean, this thing's taking, I mean, it's with everything. So we got to get this in place as much so it'll generate taxes for us in Richwood and for the county. And this, just the services that are needed. That, I mean, that thing's tough shape. Our water plant probably hasn't been touched since they freaking built the thing, Craig. Garrett, I mean, it's, Lord, I mean, that thing's, I did not realize that thing was in such shape it was until I was in it about 4 or 5 years ago for the engineers. So basically, anything for the citizens, conveying it to you guys that I'm here basically answering to the bosses. Any help that we can throw this way, we ought to put it on the table, start considering it to see what we might need up to possibly the maximum amount that we've asked for here today.
Okay. Cassie, when we discussed a little bit of this in the past about the USDA and the time frame, as far as, you know, they get so much funding each year, okay, about, I don't want to just delay another year if possible, you know, I wanted to get this going. Can you give us a little bit of input on this time frame?
Well, so what we really need to do as quickly as possible is sure up how much grant is going to be able to be injected into this funding gap. Because what that does is then that allows you to see how much additional loan is going to be required. And if that impacts the rates of the customers, then you have to, you know, go through a process to increase those rates, and that can be timely. That is really what's most important right now, because we want to, if at all possible, file with the Public Service Commission for their approval. They have to approve the project. We want to do that before October of this year, because if we don't do it before October, then we have to wait on the accountants to pull together the new fiscal year numbers. So right now, we're allowed to use the previous fiscal year. After October, that's no longer an option. So that is our goal, is to have this funding scenario pinned down and any rate adjustments taken care of so that a PSC filing can be made in October. Everything else is in place. You have to have
So we have to
80%
go
of your
back to
estimates,
PSC
like
and get the permitting reopened up. They closed our permit number about 18 months ago.
And if we're not able to hit that particular deadline, then that will slow it down.
Then we'll
because
go
it-
over into the next calendar. Not physical, will
Yeah.
actually affect us in calendar, Lloyd.
So what do we have to do here to ensure that? Commission.
Stroke a check.
Well, I guess
I mean, that's the short of it. Just
Yeah,
stroke it.
but-
Yeah, I know.
we understand, you know, this money's not, the stimulus funding is not yet available to you. You're still waiting on guidance to see how you can utilize it and that sort of thing. So I think probably what this group would ask is just that you consider this project, keep
Have
that
it-
number in mind. And
Have it in
between-
front of you to think about it when it comes.
And between now and whenever you're, making decisions on how to allocate your funds, we'll be back with a more definite amount.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in the meantime, trying to knock that down as much as we
And,
can.
and to add on top of what Cassie says, every day we're working on this, and I think we meet next week, the week after next, where we have another set where we went to the other agencies who are gonna work or coming back and telling us what scenarios they can give us back. Is that correct, Cassie? We're in that stage with them right now. Like I say, from what I'm gathering and asking and hearing and reading, you all are probably, nobody, the state, the counties, the cities, nobody's gonna really have any guidance what to do with the money for probably another 3 to 6 weeks from what you read. And then what you're asking, because they're still trying to put it together, what it's gonna be able to do with, what's gonna be put to the forefront.
See, that's all coming from the national level.
Right.
And
it's a
then the
trickle
state
down.
auditor is gonna
Then
go
it's
through the
gonna-
same
it's a-
process.
It's a trickle.
Because we're gonna get a representative that's gonna oversee every single cent.
Yeah, from what you say,
State
apparently
auditors.
they're gonna run everything through the state's checkbook, is that what they call it?
Open checkbook.
Oh, yeah, something, yeah, trying to keep up with the mechanisms is something, but they're gonna run it through that, they're gonna have direct oversight in areas, counties, so I still think 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer before we even get any guidance, might be the end of the second quarter before anybody gets actually any guidance. So we need to be here today, giving you all the heads up. By the time you get guidance, hopefully, correct me if I'm wrong, Cassie, we should have pretty much tied down what we could get, can't we, Cassie? Because we know we're fighting. Time is an essence on us to satisfy, like what Lloyd was asking, what time in the future of this year we have to be in front of those agencies and have we're pretty much ready to where we can go to those agencies, other than just a couple of scenarios, and the accountants and the engineers will be finishing that up pretty quickly, so we can present that. Because I think we're working on 3, 4 scenarios right now, from the most likely we like to the very worst scenario case that could be presented in any situation. So
everything you've got right now is just on your engineer's estimates.
yeah, pretty much. We got to go to what they do. They call it, what is it? Cassie, you might explain that to Craig a little bit better than I can. But what they do, the engineers basically work the calls. They give it to the accountants to come up with the rate. The engineer puts together the cost basis for the project. And he came up with a cost estimate on 22nd of March 21 of $9,091,081. $9,091,081.31.
That's your total project.
That's a
estimate.
total
That includes all your engineering fees.
That's total project, turn the water on. That's where we were at the estimates.
That's where we need to be.
And you've got funding for the 9+ million, you're the 800 short.
No, we're
Are
short.
you saying we do?
No, we're short probably right now, initial funding where we set at today, close to $3 million.
Yeah.
We're trying to cover a $3 million gap right now, Craig. Everyone, I mean, that's because we've had an agency step back. So we have to go somewhere else, but we've gained on that. But right as when we left the last meeting, we were short right at $3 million, wasn't it, Cassie?
Yeah, but I mean, while that sounds like a really big number, we've already got one agency to tell us they'll pitch in an additional $500,000 in grant.
Half in grant.
We're hoping another will pitch in another $500,000 in grant, and then we
one
can.
will give us $1 million in loan with an
In
additional
loan, that's
loan.
very low interest, and so while it sounds like a huge gap, we're already whittling it down. So,
Is FEMA giving you anything?
No.
they were
This-
never a part of this.
This
particular
FEMA was
scenario.
never involved in any shape or form of this project, and none.
Could it be?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
Not even up
no,
to the laurel.
No,
Yeah.
no.
If it wasn't already, a part of,
What was
I
it?
don't think
Yeah.
it would be wildfires.
or it would already be.
looks like
Would have already
they're
been-
back somewhere, because I mean, they did localize this property.
They did.
So,
Yeah, Nick FEMA never even, because so much of it was just, it was a project in process, never disrupted anything in construction. It was started, so FEMA would not ever be a part or would look at it.
That's not a bad
I
idea.
know that, I think that's something that avenue to go
I
at.
think it is too.
Well, I mean, if you can ask them and see if they throw money at it, you never know.
Well, I mean, I look at it from the standpoint they're trying to get everybody out of the flood zone and floodway. This would open up opportunities for that.
Well, you would hope, use the term hope. Yeah, but we want you to put this number on your radar.
Is the
Okay?
city gonna put up anything out of their money?
Who knows? That's,
Yeah, 'cause it'll be their PSD.
pardon?
It'll be part of their PSD system.
Yeah, it won't be part of their PSD, that's exactly right, they'll be the controlling agent, part of that, so that's up to them. I mean, that's, or if they'll have it available to do.
Understood.
Can you do like, you were talking about the rates of the water. Can you do anything like a surcharge, like at first, whenever you get it on, like for the first 5 years or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's another
basically,
option.
that's in the core rate, that is in the core rate that you first give the customer, right, Cassie?
Yeah.
It has the accelerated rate when you start.
Yeah.
And see, we did a projection on rate 6 years ago. Probably, it was somewhere around $72, so we know we're gonna be on that number.
Will there be one contractor or more contractors?
There will actually be 3 contracts. I
There is.
believe there's one for each area of the extension, or maybe there's one for the extension, one for the plant, and one for the tank.
Yeah, I think that's how it is. The extension, plant, tank.
And it has to be that way. I mean, could you take bids and say 3 different bids and then
Guys,
say one inclusive?
I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you start asking around the state, from the northern panhandle down to both bordering sides, they're having a very difficult time getting contractors to bid on these utility jobs. They can't hardly get them. The private sectors has just eaten them up. I mean, why do government work when you can do Houston work, so to speak? And that is what, and I hear this from development people, Cassie's peers from around the states, other county commissioners, other people are involved, like I and LeVay that volunteer. They're having a tough time getting people to even bid on these projects. That's, with the downturn of gas right now, maybe we can get some of them to come back. But I don't think, it's just the way they lay it out.
Any additional questions you have about that, though, we stay in contact with the project engineer frequently, and we can,
Yeah, we can ask that, no problem.
Who's doing Thrasher?
No, this project,
Litton, Thomas.
Thompson and Litton.
Thompson and
Same
Litton,
company that's doing the broadband.
doing the broadband, yes.
It was Stafford and Associates. It started.
Yeah, and then
they
it
were
turned
bought
out
out.
TI,
Okay.
yeah. Good bunch to work with,
Okay.
very,
Yep.
very due diligent. You got anything else, John? Thank you guys for your time.
Well,
You have any other questions? I mean, avenues to go get money, we're receptive to.
yeah. I'm sure we'll get some guidance on how we can spend our money that we have coming. Okay.
That manual ought to be
Yeah.
nice and thick, won't it?
Then again, well, usually they are. All federal money usually has guidelines with it, and it's just how it is, on how it can be spent. There are some other avenues that we'll explore, okay, as far as getting some money to help us here in Nicholas County to get this project done, and you do have our support.
Thank you.
I have a question for everybody here, especially Cassie and Steve and the commission. Okay, when we first started this project, everybody chipped in what money they could to get everything going. Some of them $100, some of them 20, some of them 15. The ones that, people that didn't have much money couldn't contribute as much. Okay. Then we were told that we couldn't collect money for the project So we had to give it back, but then there was a process that the city was going to let anybody that signed up by a certain date, that they would waive the hookup fees. So that's one reason we started giving the money back. And the hookup fees were, what, $300? So we didn't have $300 per person when we collected. We had about $2,500 altogether. We had people go to the bank and make deposits for the project and everything. And we don't know who they are. The bank won't tell us. You got to pay for the information. And I couldn't come up with the money to do that. So right now I have $1,535 on my person that belongs to the project. I'd given back about $700 and some to the people that paid, that signed up for the water and the waiver on the hookup fee. I want to know what to do with the rest of this money. I've got it with me right now. I don't know what to do with it. I really don't want to hold on to it. Took it out of the bank. We had it in a bank account. It wasn't doing any good. You can't make any interest on anything like that. That's not allowed on this project like that. So I'd like to know what to do with it.
It's my understanding that that was a community effort, and I don't know that the city has any formal records of who made contributions and how much they made. So
I've got a piece of paper that tells how much people, most of the people that contributed.
I mean, that would be, I think as far as I know, that was just a community organized endeavor. So, I mean, I think that's really just kind of up to, maybe get this group. There was a core Hinkle Mountain group together and discussed about how you would like to, to move forward with that. And as far as the project goes now, anyone who signs up prior to a certain date doesn't have to pay their tap fee. And there might be like some other fee associated with something. I think there's one fee that's waived and one that you have to pay. And several payments have already been made to the city, and there are a record of that, and it's in a particular account or whatever. But this, I don't know. I mean, there's not really any guidance, honestly, so that we can provide to you. What I would recommend just personally is just to get with your group of, your community group of Hinkle Mountain and have that collective board make a decision on how to handle the refunds.
You and Nevada can decide how to do that.
Hang on to the money and hold a picnic.
There you go. Have a celebration of completion and invite everybody, including our commissioners.
Start working on the project, start actually putting, laying the pipe and everything. Have a big picnic for everybody that's going to be involved in it.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it, and we thank you for your support. Any questions, call. I'm easy to find. If not, send for me. Come get me.
We'll be back in contact. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're here now at the request of Commissioner Chapman concerning a discussion about the courthouse furniture. So, Commissioner Chapman, if there's anything you'd like to state for the record.
We've got two different bids, one for the chairs for the entire upstairs courtroom area, and another one to have new tables built. These are also the jury rooms and the courthouse itself. So the three bids for the tables came from G2 Handworkers out of Summersville, and they will be constructing the tables. The chair bids came from Tri-State Office Furniture in Charleston.
I would make a motion to approve the construction of the tables, because those are altogether around 6,000. Okay. And I would also include in the motion to bid the chairs out. Yeah, 5936. Okay, it is the figure for that. As far as 5936 for the tables. And we'll bid the chairs out
To this spec.
to the spec that we have here, because we think that's going to be run more than 15,000. Okay.
Okay, that motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion to be had? Where this is different companies, different products, we can separate that definitively. And I think that it's great that we are going local. And thank you, Commissioner Chapman, for working on that angle of things with the judge there. Anything else? This is the total for the tables. That motion is on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Okay.
And the judge will get us that spec list, Commissioner Chapman there, and we'll set that out for a couple weeks, regroup on the tables.
Okay.
That being said, we're here to our public comment period. I forgot to run that. No, you're fine. I've been doing it lately. You got anything to say?
Oh, no, that was
That's a
pretty
dangerous
bad.
question.
I was gonna say, that's a loaded question.
Yeah. All right, there's no one for the public comment period. That being said, is there any other issues Commissioner would like to address at this time?
Good. I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Let's see here, real quick. If you don't mind. Okay, I don't have anything to. Okay, that motion's on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. We stand adjourned.